See, I'm always anxious whenever I stop talking. I mean, I'm anxious when I stop talking, like in normal circumstances, but especially on stream, because it's like, someone might be like, "Oh, do you know what? Maybe I'll actually check out that stream." And they'll click on it, and do you know what I'm doing? Sitting here like, you know, staring at nothing. Ooh, piece of wood. Bonk. Oh, poop. Do I have a bonk? Bonk. Back shot. Let's go. But yeah, that's always the anxiety I have regarding like streaming is just what if I'm bored? What if I'm boring? That's it. What if I am? What if I'm boring? I could be entertaining for like 3.5 hours, but if people only come in for the 30 minutes that I'm not doing much of anything, they're gonna think I'm lame. Now, there's one thing I don't want is people think I'm lame. I was in work today. I was talking about how I'd quite like to hit affiliate, possibly by the end of next month, which would give me basically 60 days between now and the 1st of April to try and hit affiliate, which, is tough. I've just realised how much damage I've taken from this level 8 weasel. Let's just switch. No. But yeah, right. So, it feels like a lot of time, but I mean, this is the thing, right? I only need to get one follower a day on average for all of those days for me to hit affiliate, which you know is doable. I just need to make not even better content, but more discoverable content, especially, right? I need to make some more algorithm friendly content that isn't just streaming on Twitch, or posting on Tumblr, because neither of those things are conducive to getting followers on Twitch, unfortunately. I wish they were, though, because then I'd have way more followers on Twitch. If I had as many followers on Twitch as I do on like Tumblr, I'd have some followers. Oh dear. Wait. Honestly? Honestly. Let's go. Let's go. Let's take this. We take this. Okay. You're using double hit. Okay. What kind of content am I? See, this is the thing. Right. Oh God. Whoa. Right. In an ideal world, um, I've just realized how screwed I am. Yeah. In an ideal world, right? What like I'd right. I mean, see, this is the problem, right? Because I work a full-time job, the kind of content I can make is fairly limited by the fact that, I have to leave for work before 7 o'clock in the morning, and I get home from work after 7 o'clock in the evening. So I'm out of the house for like 13 hours a day. So, you know, there's no feasible way for me to make
Bruh.
there's no feasible way for me to make like cool, good, great content that's like good for YouTube or good for Twitter or good for anything, good for TikTok or whatever. And also stream on Twitch and play games. You know, one of those things that like you just can't have both ways, because you know the capitalist nightmare we live in means that I don't get both. I you know there isn't enough time in the day to get both. You know, if I like if I was being like optimal, right? Like the optimal thing to do would be to not stream on Twitch at all, and only make like YouTube content for like really clickable YouTube content for like 6 months, and then kind of build up. I'm gonna wipe to this, and then build up like a YouTube audience, or an audience on whatever platform I want to build up on, whether it's YouTube or TikTok or Twitter or whatever, and then try and move that audience to Twitch. You know, that's you know, it sucks, right? Like it's not fun, but it's also, you know, kind of the most efficient way to do this, which, you know, also just happens to be the way you know, be one of the ways I'm not particularly interested in, because, you know, just at the minute I'm not particularly interested in working my full-time job and then coming home and doing another like 4 hours of work every day, 7 days a week. You know, like, you know, like I'm it's the thing, right? It's like I'm well aware that that's basically the only way for me to grow as a creator. But also it's a really good way for me to completely burn myself out, you know? Right? Like anyone who kind of aspires to do this, not even as like a job, right? Because, you know, I don't need, not that I wouldn't ever want to like do Twitch as a job if it's something that took off, but it's not something I'm like sitting here like, yeah, I'm doing this because I want to make it my job. I'm sitting here like, yeah, I'm doing this because it's fun and it's a good hobby. But like, you'll forget making it your job, even just building a small community of people where it's like, you know, a hobby that you make a little money from every now and then, right? You're kind of like, you know, even the amount of work necessary to do that is pretty huge. And, you know, not really conducive to good mental or even physical health. So you do kind of really have to choose between, you know, you do kind of have to choose, right? Like which you want to do. Okay, you don't want that berry. All right. But yeah, right. This is the thing is, you know, there's all kinds of content I'd love to make. You know, I'd love to do video essays. I'd love to do this. I'd love to, you know, again, right? There's a million and one things I'd love to do that you just don't. It's just the time and energy just isn't there. You know. Oh, I'm dead. You know, I think that's the thing, right? Is like, especially if you look at Twitch, or like you look at kind of the people who are sort of the most popular when it comes to giving that sort of Twitch advice. Like, you know, Harris Heller is one of the biggest sort of Twitch advice guys on the internet, and you know, a lot of his advice comes down to basically, you know, look, if you know, forget about whether you want to do this, you know, as a full-time job, even if you want to just, make a space for yourself online, you need to be willing to make it a full-time job without it being a full-time job, right? Like, this isn't just a hobby, but you have to be willing to grind yourself to the bone just to, like, yeah, make a space for yourself online. Which, isn't, I think, Harris Heller in particular, I think, is one of the most sort of hyper capitalistic outlooks on Twitch. Or not even on Twitch, but on sort of work of anyone sort of in that sort of space of providing, providing insight or providing advice to people who want to get into this, He's one of the biggest, I think, proponents of that sort of 24/7 grind set because it's what he did. But, when you look at all of the kind of advantages that he had over even someone like me who, has a lot of advantages over a lot of other people who would look at this as something they'd love to do as a job. I'd call it almost nearsighted to look at Twitch or look at kind of content creation as something that you can get buy-in by just grinding. Not even grinding, but even by, work smart, not hard, right? Like, there's so much kind of you come up against so much even if you're working quote unquote smart, that there's just no, not even guarantee that you'll be kind of successful. Like, forget success, but there's no guarantee that you'll kind of have a niche, let alone success, and that sucks. That, like, really sucks because, and again, like I said, like, this, isn't even something I necessarily want to be my full-time job, but rather something I just kind of do because I enjoy. And hey, if I can, like, I do it because I enjoy it. I put work into it because I enjoy it. But like I said before, is that there literally isn't enough time in the day for me to put the kind of work into this that I'd like to make the kind of content that I could look at and go, yeah, that's good, let alone like great or the best. And I think it sucks. And that's really the only kind of word for it, right? It sucks. That's not even a knock against Harris Heller. I think he makes a lot of very excellent and poignant observations in the sort of advice he would give to people who look to move into the space on any level. But I do think that, it is an outlook that is, like I said, kind of filtered through this very sort of hyper-capitalist lens, where, we view production as, value and in and of itself, right? Where the thing that, right, where, it's not about how hard you work even necessarily, but it's about how hard you're willing to work after you've already worked. And this is the thing, is there's no doubt in my mind that I'm willing to do this for 9 hours a day. Putting 9 hours of work a day, 7 days a week into content creation. That would be great. What I can't do is do that after being out of the house for 13 hours a day. you know, because it's 22 hours, you know. So, you know, right? Like Harris Heller has released a video where he talked about, that sort of grind set, where, it's not about, how hard you're willing to work until you're tired, but it's more so, it's more important, how hard you're willing to work or how far you're willing to run after you're tired, which, is kind of problematic on its own, because this is the thing is, right, I'm like, again, a really, really small example of this, but, it doesn't matter how hard I'm willing to work after I'm tired, you know? It doesn't matter, right? Like, it's the thing, I'm willing to work, but, you know, until you make a day more than 24 hours long, I'm not going to be able to, thanks to the... Yeah, but this is the thing, right? Like, but again, right, like, extending the day to 36 hours doesn't actually solve the problem, right? Because if the day was 36 hours long, then my work day would be, 18 hours, right? Like, my work day would be 18 hours instead of 9 hours, right? Extending the length of the day isn't the issue, right? Like I said, there is, in a very literal sense, enough time in the day for me to do what I want to do, or for anyone to do what they want to do. It's just a matter of actually being allowed to use that time for yourself. So that's it, right? Like, it is a really awkward one, because there's no solution, but a solution to this problem is so far off in the future that it's essentially meaningless, right? To think about. In any, like, kind of real sense. Do you know what I would love, though? Right? To be one of those people who, like, that's it, right? Like, I think the kind of ideal Twitch streamer life, right, is that you're one of those people who has like a channel big enough where you can make like 50% of your like discoverable content just like work that other people have done for you, right? Right, like the amount of people and like streamers especially who like where like the content they're able to make is like, you know, where like, yeah, the content they're able to make is like, oh, I looked at the I react to like Reddit, you know. Right, so again, right, you make, like, you get all these people to watch you, and they like fund you, they fund what you're doing, and then, what you do is you then take their labor as well as their capital, and you turn it into a product that then they then have to pay you more for, right? And this is the thing, is like, streaming is such a strange intermixing of like the capitalist mode of production, in which, like, again, all of the advice is basically to turn everything you do into a product, into multiple products, right? The best way to grow as a Twitch streamer is, like I said, to turn your Twitch streams into YouTube videos, and your YouTube videos into TikToks, and your TikToks into tweets, and you know, your tweets into Twitch streams, and just kind of repeat that cycle forever. And you know, right, like you've got this great form of like existence, this great like form of production, whoa, where you know, you can have, you know, you know, this like excellent kind of community funded way of being that just doesn't work anymore because the entire thing got spoiled by algorithms. You know? And this rant, right, into a piece of discoverable, clickable content, right? Like, easily, right, say 100 people watch, easily 50 of them are gonna like watch it, and you know, I'll be cancelled for you know, wrong opinions that I just kind of said unscripted off the top of my head about where I feel the strange intermixing of like capitalism and Twitch streaming is, you know. There's like no winning there. Lost and found, I'd like to return this, please. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad I'm your favorite Twitch streamer regardless. That's good. I mean, hey, look. Think about it like this. All that means is if I get cancelled, you'll be called out too. You'll be in my call out thing, right? Like any issue with Twitch on like a sociological level ultimately comes down to like, you know, right, like ultimately comes back around to one of like, you know, six like macro level issues, right? I'll be honest, I've like completely forgotten some of the quests I was supposed to be doing. I think because like I know I came out here to like get orange berries, and then I got sidetracked talking about like the strange dystopia of like existence on the internet.